Hey everyone. So I have well and truly got brain fog, so I'm just stepping away from my laptop for a few minutes. You know that feeling when you've just been staring at something for way too long, or focusing on something too hard, trying to figure out a solution and you're not getting anywhere, or even just sitting on the computer all day. So I had to just get away and get a little bit of perspective, just went and got some fresh air, just try and get a new take on it. So basically I'm working on building a website. Well, I'm not. My brother's a website designer. He's building a website for the charity that I started in Uganda and Congo. I haven't really touched on this yet, so I wanted to tell you all a little bit about it. Something I'm obviously really, really excited about. So we're going to be launching in the next few days. It has definitely been something that I never thought would be this, let's say, hard. I think I've always wanted to make the biggest impact possible, and so naturally I was in Uganda for a year, and just as soon as I got there, I started sort of seeing the same issues arising in lots of different ways. One of the main ones being school fees. So in Uganda, it doesn't matter what school you go to, whether it's private, public, government, you have to pay school fees. The same with medical fees. So they don't have the NHS, they don't have free schools. So, and relatively, the price is very high relatively to wages. So you find families going into huge amounts of debt just to be able to put their children into primary school. And a lot of kids just have to miss high school because it's just too expensive. Now, obviously, this is a problem that needs to be dealt with the government. Like, that is one of the things that I was discussing with teachers and schools and things over there, seeing what is being done. Like, you know, how can we lobby? How can we speak to the government officials? How can we speak to the Minister of Education, things like that, and see what can be done? Because really, when you're giving education, you're investing in the future. And so the future of Uganda and Congo is kind of relying on the children of that generation being educated. So there's a lot of adults that haven't been through that. And it obviously is causing problems. You can see that in lack of jobs and sort of lack of businesses being able to be started and growth and in lots of different ways. But yeah, it's not all bad. It just means that obviously it's not all bad. It just means that it's a big issue. Some families, some children don't have families. You know, if there's a high rate of HIV, and obviously in the north of Uganda, they were involved in the war, in the insurgency. So there's a lot of children that don't have parents. So it makes the situation even more, well, impossible. If you don't have parents that can earn money to send you to school, you're not going to be going to school. It's hard enough just living and feeding yourself and having a home. So we have a lot of the children in the areas. So I was in the west of Uganda and in the north of Uganda, also in central Uganda where Kampala is. We have a lot of children that are taken in by caregivers or their grandparents, for example, or another family member. Obviously, these people have their own children or are elderly or, you know, have a different situation. So the majority of the caregivers that we've been working with have got their own children, and there's no social services or sort of processes like that to protect the children. So if a child loses both their parents, they are essentially just on their own. So these families are taking in children just out of the goodness of their own heart, even when they are already struggling with school fees, feeding them, the children, you know, all these things. Employment is a problem, and it just goes round in a vicious circle. You know, employment is a problem, so kids aren't going to school, and because their parents can't pay school fees, and so they're not going to school, so they're not able to better their job prospects, and then they're also in the same position when they're an adult. So this cycle needs to be broken. Obviously, there's a lot of different things that can be done, and I'm no expert, but just having some time there and discussing these kind of things with the parents, the caregivers, teachers, head teachers, schools, other people in the government, you kind of see, okay, what immediately can we do to kind of try and alleviate some of this problem? Like, what can be done? What can everybody join together and help with? And so we kind of came up with two solutions. One is the obvious sponsorship, where we're linking people like yourselves to children that perhaps are vulnerable. So they might be single parent children. Most of them are orphans or vulnerable children without caregivers that have been now matched with caregivers or are being taken into a family. And we then are giving support to the families. So sponsorship is where somebody is paying for the fees, the uniform, the lunch for the child so that they can attend school. So that's obviously an absolutely massive gift to give somebody. Like, we take it for granted. And when I say we, here in the UK, where I've grown up, it's taken for granted that we can just go to school. There's a no-brainer. We even don't want to go to school a lot of the time. Whereas the majority of the children I met, in fact, I didn't meet one child while I was travelling around and living in Uganda and Congo that didn't want to go to school. They absolutely have that thirst. They know that it equals a better life, a better quality of life opportunity. And they've got that thirst for knowledge. It was amazing to see. So giving the gift of helping a child achieve that, which is often just impossible for them, or would be impossible, is priceless. We also have children that we've brought onto our programme who are former child soldiers. So in the north of Uganda, where I was living in Gulu, there are a huge majority. So there was about 25,000 children kidnapped during the insurgency and forced to be soldiers. So obviously that's a double-pronged problem. I can talk more about this in another video. I'd love to tell you more about it. But it means that a lot of them have lacked education. For the years that they were in the bush or in the war, they haven't been educated. They've missed out on school and they're wanting to. The other issue is that often a lot of them have come out of the war and all their families are gone. Their families have been killed. So it leaves them homeless, without family, without a community, without education. So that's a lot of the street kids that we came across and worked with were in that situation. So again, linking them with foster families and far off family members if we can find them, and trying to obviously first put them in a home or help them achieve a home, because there's no point being in school and getting education if you're then living on the street, but also then being able to support them through school. Obviously this is a little bit more costly. Most of them are young adults and high school is more expensive, but they've missed out on their primary education as well, a lot of them. So it's just absolutely essential that they have this opportunity. It's just a no-brainer. Like, honestly, I'll talk more about it. I've got tons of their stories that they're really happy for me to share, and was kind of why I was there working with I Am Somebody's Child Soldier, another charity, linking with my charity to give them a chance to tell that story. And these will be compiled into articles and perhaps even a book at some point, but giving them a chance, to tell their story. But when you hear what these young people have been through, you actually just can't believe it. Like, even for an adult to go through something like that, and for them to come through it and just desperately just want an education. And many of them, you'll hear when I'm sharing this footage and the stories with you, many of them are wanting to work in a profession where they're giving back. They want to be nurses. They want to be teachers. They want to be mental health workers and do things that are going to help people. They want to help other children and they want to help each other. It's so, so inspiring. I can't wait to share the stuff with you. But in the meantime, that's kind of what we've been doing. So working out the logistics of what is possible. We were before just looking at offering fees for the children so that we could at least get as many children into school as possible. The problem with that being that if they're coming from a background where it's difficult to even get the money together to be feeding the children, or, having meals or pay for a uniform, it means they're going to school without a uniform, without shoes, without books, without food. And that's just not optional. We can't send a child to school all day without them being able to eat. So we've put together these package, which is like a education package where they're getting a uniform, they get shoes, they're getting books, termly, they're getting fed a hot meal every day, a big nutritious meal. They're getting their education. And there's also an option to support one of the older students into boarding school. So that's the the word's gone from my mind, but yeah, basically boarding schools, so that if they haven't got a family at home, they're put into a boarding school where they get their education, but they're also getting their accommodation as well. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you about that, about what we've been doing today. That's why I've got brain fog, because just trying to make it all logistically work. It's been a massive, massive, massive learning curve. I knew I wanted to do it, and I don't regret it for a second. Just a lot. I mean, I'm spending a full time's worth of work every day, every week, doing the admin, doing the logistics, the creative stuff, everything, the keeping in touch with everyone in Uganda, logistically making it all come together and work. And obviously being over there before, just getting like stuck in and hands on. So I'll be going back soon. I need to go back ASAP. And I would love to take as many pictures of you guys, whoever would like to support us, to the kids, so that I can show them who's helping them and the big backing they've got back here. Show them all my family and friends, and just share the massive amount of love that I know is out there, and share that with them, because some of them just seem to have absolutely got the blunt end of a stick and not had any of that. And I've had, luckily enough I've had tons of it, so I want to share it about. So, okay, I'm going to stop rambling now. Our website is going to be live in a couple of days. It's BeTheChange-International.org. I will be telling you when it's live. Obviously, we're going to have a massive launch videos. I'm going to just bombard you with stuff. But in the meantime, you can log on to Facebook on our page. It's Be The Change International if you want to search for it. On Instagram, it's Be The Change-International. And on both of those sites, you can find out how to donate and how to sign up to be a sponsor. It will be an easier process once the website's up and running. But we have our form on there at the moment. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm Blonde Susie, or Susie Ford on Facebook. Please give me a message, give me a shout on here, post on YouTube, wherever it is, I'll see it. And we like, one thing I will just say is that being a small charity, starting from small things, with like trying to solve some of the community problems and be a solution as part of that community and being integral in it, has been not only absolutely wonderful for me, like living there and being in Uganda, like living with everyone and getting to know everyone, and just being blessed with being welcomed into families all over the country, and also in Congo as well. But the real thing is, it then means that we are absolutely reliant on people like you helping us. Like, obviously I've been really fortunate enough to be able to go over there. You know, I worked for years, sold my car, moved out of my house, sold most of my stuff, so that I could go and start a charity and do volunteer work for a year or so again. It's obviously just what I'm here to do, what I feel like this is my purpose. I know that that's not everybody's, everybody doesn't have that option to go and do that. So I really, obviously, you know, I work to be able to do it, and I'm absolutely blessed to have the opportunity. But it does mean that you can join with us, you can be part of this, you can be part of this journey and our goals and our missions to really make as much of an impact as possible by helping us out. We need support, we need people's positivity, we need sponsorships, we need donations, we need everything, we need love, we need all of it. So if you can help us in any way, we'll be absolutely so grateful. And it really, really, really does make a big difference. And I'm going to be showing you that. So one of my big goals when I go back over there again soon, is to show you really what's going on and what you are helping with. So thanks for listening. I'll be talking more about the charity as we go along. I just wanted to kind of give you an update and give you a little insight into the world of starting a charity. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that's done this before, oh my goodness, get in touch, please. I would love to hear your sort of ups and downs and any tips you can give. It's an amazing thing to do, but some days you do need that support around you of everyone, and to see what difference it's making, and it's all absolutely worth it. you just see one of those children knowing that they're going to school because of you, or one family member that's had support into learning, doing a vocational training, or one child that feels supported when they don't necessarily have that at home, or they don't have any family left. Yeah, it's just amazing. So thanks to everyone who already supports us, to all the people around me that have listened to my millions of questions and have helped in every single way that you have. I'm really grateful. So see you soon. Speak to you soon. Bye.